it's really difficult sometimes to ask the hard questions, particularly when you have systems that are supposed to work well for everyone. And really the hard question is, did Arizona's Senate majority lie to the Maricopa County Superior Court when they made their subpoena request and ultimately won that almost 3 weeks ago now? So here's where we're at. And let me explain this, and I'll try to do it quickly. After the 2020 election, there was a lot of lying about the results. There was a lot of questions, and there was a lot of scrutiny. A lot of scrutiny. In fact, Maricopa County's 2020 election is arguably the most single highly scrutinized election in the history of American elections. I ran that election, and we've passed every test with flying colors, every independent audit. The hand count audit was 100%. Everything worked out well. But the Arizona Senate Republicans and their willingness to misrepresent the truth, their willingness to erode democracy, put them in a place where they said, we want all the data, we want to do this examination ourselves. And the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, 4-1 Republicans, not from the seditionist wing of the Republican Party, by the way, because in Arizona we have 2 Republican parties now. There's the seditionist wing, and then there's like the regular Republicans that don't get censured. So they asked for a subpoena. They made a subpoena request. They said, hey, Board of Supervisors, give us everything. And the board said, no, you don't get everything. And they went to a judge. And the judge said, as a matter of law, and it's not an unreasonable ruling, that when the legislature is doing investigations and oversight, there's a question of law, they can do this. But remember, when the Arizona Senate Republicans asked for that subpoena, they did not say they were going to do a recount. In fact, they said they were not planning on doing a recount. They said that was not part of what they wanted to do. Their lawyers argued that all they wanted to do was examine what was happening and how it was happening and how the election went so that they could analyze it for further legislative purposes. They did not say they wanted to do a recount. Now, there's indisputable evidence that the Senate Republicans want to do a recount, a hand recount of the entire 2.1 million ballots. They lied to the Superior Court. They misrepresented their motivation to the Superior Court, and I can tell you right now, there's a low likelihood they would have gotten the authority that they got if they had told that to the Superior Court, because in Arizona, the law says that recounts only happen a certain way. The Arizona Senate Republicans have completely misrepresented the reason why they wanted to get their hands on those ballots in the first place. Now, casual observers know why they wanted to do it. They wanted to continue to go cast doubt on an election that was a really good, very secure, very accountable, the most secure election in the history of American elections, according to Trump-appointed CISA director, who Trump fired after he said that. We know we ran a great election. The career professionals in that office ran a great election. And we know we have evidence that the Senate Republicans lied through their lawyer. So either they lied to their lawyer or the lawyer lied to the court, or both. Because they never said anything about a recount. They never said anything about recounting every single one of those 2.1 million ballots before they got authority to take legal possession. Now that they have legal possession, they want to do a recount of your ballots, of your solid election. It's outrageous. It's outrageous, and it's pretty disingenuous to them. They basically lied to the Superior Court. How do we know for sure? Well, they went and they asked my predecessor, Helen Purcell, to run the recount. They are on record saying they want to find some trustworthy Republicans and Democrats to run a recount for them. That's not why they were given access to those ballots. Run your statistical sampling. Run the audit that you want to use to investigate better ways to create better laws in Arizona. That's fine. If that's what you want to do and the court says go for it, then go for it. But don't lie to the court to get your grubby hands on those ballots, which is what you did. And I've got a question for Doug Ducey. And I've got a question for Kimberly Yee. And I've got a question for Mark Brnovich. Y'all leaders of the grand old party, you've got a seditionist wing that's going crazy right now. And statewide leaders of that party are not standing up against this. Statewide leaders of the Republican Party who are not members of the seditionist wing of that party are not standing up to them. Why? Why? Well, because they're cowards. And you know what? We got to call it out the way we see it. They lied in order to get the subpoena. They did not say they were going to want to do a recount. Now they want to do a recount after they have legal possession. And oh, by the way, thank goodness for the reasonable Republicans on the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. And I really hope that some of them are listening. I really hope that Jack Sellers and Clint Hickman and Bill Gates are listening. Because I know the other one's kind of a seditionist, semi-seditionist. He doesn't commit to anything. You've got to stand up to the seditionist wing of your party, Republicans. It's on you. Doug Ducey, this is on you. You got a Senate president that used to be reasonable. Now she's out there asking for something that she didn't ask for in the first place after getting a subpoena that wasn't for this purpose. Come on. Come on. Where's the integrity? We know we've got it. I know I've got it. I ran one of the best and most secure elections in the history of Arizona, and the most highly scrutinized, by the way. I've got receipts. And I inherited from Helen Purcell herself a great organization. They got more resources, we got more people on board, and we killed it. We crushed it in 2020. And I've handed that off now because the same election that these folks are bitching and complaining about is the same election where I didn't get reelected. Because it had integrity. That's why I'm not complaining. Because we ran it with honor. That's why I'm not complaining about it. And yet these folks who are trying to destroy your voting rights are going to continue to push this along. The seditionist wing of the Republican Party is destroying that party. And reasonable Republicans have to stand up against it, not bend to it, Mark Brnovich. Not bend to it or stay silent, Kimberly Yee, State Treasurer. Not just stay quiet and occasionally give some lip service. Again, credit where due, Doug Ducey did stand up for the election processes in Arizona, but he's been totally silent for far too long. This has to stop. They're now not just lying to you, the voters, they're lying to the courts as well. They got that subpoena under false pretenses. They have legal possession of 2.1 million ballots under false pretenses. They never said they wanted a recount. They said they didn't want to do a recount. And now guess what? They're asking Helen Purcell to run a recount for them. And God bless her, she said no. Because it's unnecessary, she said. Well, that's what we've been saying the whole time. Folks, our operation was more highly scrutinized than any operation ever. We've passed every single test. They are lying directly to the court. There is objective, provable evidence that they misrepresented their position to the court. Either they were lying to their lawyers who made that argument, or their lawyers are lying to the court after making that argument, or all of them on that side of it were lying. That's a problem. And the regular Republican leaders are not speaking out against the seditionist wing of their party. The seditionist wing that would promote the same lie that motivated an armed assault against the Capitol of the United States of America. This has got to stop. This has got to stop. So, reasonable Republicans out there who are not seditionists, reasonable Republicans out there who do believe in the democratic process and do believe that it's okay to lose once in a while, you just come back stronger later, please reach out to your brethren. Please reach out to your brothers and sisters on the right. The seditionist wing of the Republican Party has to be stopped. And it has to be stopped by independents and Republicans and Democrats and libertarians alike. We are all in this together against the seditionists in the Republican Party. And not all Republicans are seditionists. I will repeat that again. But they lied to the court. That's an objective fact. They never said they were going to do a recount. Now they're all over the place saying they want to do a recount. That's a horrible, horrible thing. To lie to the court, to get legal possession of those ballots, even if they don't have anywhere to put them, still 3 weeks later. I mean, this is not a joke. It's not a joke anymore. I'm Adrian Fontes. Thank you for paying attention a little bit today. Get Get out there and talk to folks. Really. Let people understand. When they originally subpoenaed these ballots, it was to do an audit, to examine things for legislative purposes, to do research, they said, to figure out ways to improve the system, they said. That's fine, but they're not doing that now. In other words, they either lied to the court or they didn't know what the hell they were doing when they got the subpoena in the first place. We've got to stand together on this. The seditionist wing of the Republican Party must be stopped. Reasonable Republicans need our support from the political middle, from the political left, and even from the political right. The seditionist wing of the Republican Party must be stopped, and they've got to stop lying about it. I'm Adrian Fontes. You haven't seen the last of me yet.